Alright, welcome back, good people. On this video, I want to talk about a personality type. Have you ever heard of that? Now, every time I create a system for weeks of research that I'm going to do, if there's any way I can incorporate something about money, I like to incorporate that. Because a lot of times people are fed by money. They buy into things because of the mindset that how much money you can make, which is totally the wrong perspective to take. Because if the money doesn't come, you're going to go again to the next available opportunity that has a flashing sign that says you can make $1,000 a week, or you can make $5,000 a month, right? Rather than taking the time to actually do the research and set things up in a specific way so that you can guarantee yourself you'll make that, right? Although there is no guarantee in life, chances of you doing it as you set it up basic, step by step, are real high compared to the chances of you just buying into somebody else's formula. Because the way business world works, you have to understand this. Just because a person puts a formula together doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. And especially if you don't put the time and effort into it. Because that's not the way it works. You have to sacrifice. You have to actually do the work to make it work. Right? You can't just buy into it unless you're an investor. Right? You still have to do the work or have someone else do the work to get the results. Now, I'm just going to read really quickly because this is a pretty long one. I really don't like to get too intensive with this because a lot of times, people would rather hear you speak than hear you read. I'm one of those. But I'm always listening for information as someone is reading. So when I hear something that really kind of resonates with me, what I'll do is I'll play that section back. Right, and that's what I suggest you do, because sometimes when a person is reading, because of other dynamics that are going on, they may take their eyes off the paper and shift a little bit, and that's what happens in life. No, so don't look at that as a big deterrent as to when you decide to put your system together. Don't use the excuse "I can't read well" as an excuse for you not to start this process, right? Because you're not going to memorize everything. And it's not about memorization. It's about learning and applying and watching the results and adjusting the results, right? If you find that you're doing something that really doesn't really work well, take it out. You can do that. You own the company, right? You are the reason it exists. You can make all the calls, all the choices, and you should. Okay, let me get in really quickly so I can get out of this section. It says, what is your money type? This is, I did some research with a lady named Lisa Smith. It says updated June 12, 2018, and it's through Investopedia.com. So you can go there and check it out. I'm going to read some excerpts from it, and all credit to Lisa, none to Larry. I'm just sharing. Okay, it says, like almost everything else in life, your response to money is largely dedicated to your personality. But have you given much thought to how you behave in regards to your finances and how that behavior affects your bottom line? Understanding your money personality is the first step and will help you shape your approach to spending, saving, and investing. So, what's your money personality? The 5 money personality types. So, that lets you know that there are how many money personality types? Good. You are sharp. I like that. All right. It says, money personalities have been analyzed in a variety of ways, and many people can identify with parts of several of these profiles. The key is to find the type that most closely matches your behavior. The major profiles are 1. Big spenders, 2. Savers, 3. Shoppers, 4. Debtors, and 5. Investors. Now, big spenders love nice cars, new gadgets, and brand name clothing. Big spenders aren't bargain shoppers. They are fashionable and always looking to make a statement. This often means a desire to have the latest and greatest mobile phone, the biggest 4K television, and a beautiful home. When it comes to keeping up with the Joneses, big spenders are the Joneses. They are comfortable spending money, don't fear debt, and often take big risks when investing. Is that you? You know if that's you, right? You don't play like this, not you, if that's you. Just identify where you are, right? Then you can make any type of adjustments you want to make. But you have to be real. You have to be truthful, right? You have to be honest about certain things. Because, you know, even if you are lying to yourself, and you know you're lying, right? Now, savers. Savers are the exact opposite of big spenders. They turn off the lights when leaving the room, close the refrigerator door quickly to keep in the cold, shop only when necessary, and rarely make purchases with credit cards. They generally have no debts and are often viewed as cheapskates. Savers are not concerned about following the latest trends, and they derive more satisfaction from reading the interest on a bank statement than from acquiring something new. Savers are conservative by nature and don't take big risks with their investments. Now, is that you? Raise your hand if that's you. Because that's me. I'm a saver. And let's go to the next one. The next one, isn't this an interesting list? And then she has all these things that line up with that particular topic. I love this. I had to share it with you guys. Okay, the next one is shoppers. Shoppers often develop a great emotional satisfaction from spending money. They can't resist spending, even if it's to buy items they don't need. I know those people. They are usually aware of their addiction and are even concerned about the debt that it creates. They look for bargains and are happy when they find them. Shoppers are eclectic in terms of investing. Some invest regularly through 401k plans and may even invest a portion of any sudden windfalls, while others see investing as something they will get to eventually. Are you a shopper? Okay, the next one is debtors. Debtors aren't trying to make a statement with their expenditures, and they don't shop to entertain or cheer themselves up. They simply don't spend much time thinking about their money, and therefore don't keep tabs on what they spend and where they spend it. Debtors generally spend more than they earn and are deeply in debt while not putting much into investing. Similarly, they often miss taking advantage of the company match 401k plans, and that are debtors. Are you a debtor? Please don't be a debtor. And if you are, figure ways to get out of that, because that's not a good one right there. You know that, right? You know that, and I know you do. All right, the next one is investors. Investors are continually aware of money. They understand their financial situation and try to put money to work. Regardless of their current financial standings, investors tend to seek a day when passive investments will provide sufficient income to cover all their bills. Their actions are driven by careful decision making, and their investments reflect the need to take a certain amount of risk in pursuit of their goals. Now, I like that little segment right there. That was very interesting, because she talks about a lot of things that have to do with us as people, because we all have those personality traits, and you can identify that within yourself. But more than anything else, once you identify that, understand that you can change that. If one of those that I read identifies you, and you want to stop that, you can stop that, or you can alter that. But only you can, nobody else. First, you have to admit that you have that issue, whatever that was for you, and then you have to go to work on it. And over time, because things don't happen in a day, although a lot of times, if you look at it theoretically, they do happen in a day. Because think about this. If you're a smoker, let's say you're a cigarette smoker, and you decide to stop smoking today, and you don't smoke another cigarette, you made that decision today, and that decision started today. But if you're a smoker and you decide that you're going to stop smoking, and you stopped, and you started back 10 days later, you still started at that point. I mean, you stopped initially at that point, but you started again. It's like having a sobriety date, I guess. your sobriety date changed because you're no longer a non-smoker. You smoked again, so you have to start over, right? And the only way you can make that adjustment is to become consistent over time. That's how it works. Now, I hope you like that video. Share that video about money personalities, and if the money personality you identified for yourself isn't what you want it to be, change it. You can do it. SpeakWithLarry.com